Hola chiquillos, thank you for coming and watching my Unit 1 review video. So this is to help you for the unit exam. We're going to review the key concepts, and the unit revolves around present tense verbs, how to conjugate them, when to use them, and what their meaning is. So that's what this review is going to focus on. Okay, regular verbs, AR, ER, and IR are all the verb endings in the infinitive in Spanish. I have a separate video on conjugating regular verbs called Building a Verb. So go and check that out if you have any questions about AR, ER, or IR endings, the proper usage, and subject pronouns as well. Okay, so stem changing and or boot verbs, like I like to call them. So stem changing verbs, we change the vowel in the verb to preserve pronunciation. So all of these highlighted in gray change. Remember the shape of the boot, going this way. The top two plural forms don't change because we don't need them to preserve the pronunciation. So, here we have some examples. Okay, empezar, what's that mean? You're right, to begin or to start. So, empezar is that's not good. Empezar is an E to IE stem change. If you remember, there are three types of stem changing verbs. E to IE, like empezar, E to I, like servir, or O to UE, like dormir. There's also a couple exceptions. You can review your handouts for those, as well as for the meaning of all of the verbs that you'll be expected to know. So, for empezar, this E changes to IE, empiezo, and we add an O because that's the ending for the first person plural, first person singular, A over verbs. So, second person singular, tú, empiezas, and third person singular, empieza. Ella empieza la tarea. She starts the homework. So over here, these are left out of our boot, remember? We don't need to change them. So nosotros empezamos. And then we're not going to worry about vosotros right now. You can look that up. They might be on there for extra credit, but they're good to know. So third person plural, we're going to focus. Empiezan. Ellos empiezan. Okay, so now we're moving on to dormir, which is a stem changing verb as well, but it's an O to UE example. So, for first person singular, this O changes to UE, and we add an O because that's the appropriate ending. Duermo. Following that same model, for second person singular, duermes, with an ES because that's the appropriate ending. Third person singular, duerme. Moving over here, and remember the only difference between ER and IR verbs are in the nosotros and vosotros forms. So, dormimos, with an I because it's an IR verb. And then down here at the bottom, in the third person plural, duermen. Okay, now we're moving on to special stem changers. So the verb tener, remember we use it a lot, like for our age, how many rooms we have in our house, etc. It means to have, and it is an E to IE stem change with an irregular yo form. So the verb, the conjugation for tener is tengo, tienes, with the E change to IE, tiene. Tenemos, remember we leave it alone because it's in the vosotros form, and tienen. Here are two examples of verbs with the regular yo forms, hacer and salir. Hacer means to make or do, so the irregular yo form is hago. Haces, hace, hacemos, hacen. As you notice, the rest of the verb form besides the irregular yo follows the same pattern as an ER verb normally would. Same goes for salir, which is an IR verb, and the irregular yo form is salgo. But sales, sale, salimos, and salen are all regular, they follow the pattern pretty well. Okay, ser and estar, both of them mean to be in English, but we use them differently in Spanish. Estar, as you remember, is to be located or to be feeling right now. They're more temporary things, where we use ser with more permanent things, everything that's not location or feeling. Ser, the conjugation is quite irregular, so you have to memorize it. It's soy, eres, es. Somos, son. And then with estar, estoy, está, está. Estamos, están. And note that these three forms have accents over the A in the end of the conjugation. Estoy is irregular, and estamos we don't touch. It's regular. Just remember that it's the regular one. Okay. Thank you for tuning in, and I look forward to seeing you in class. And if you have any questions, ask me in class or send me an email.